Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So to kind of continue the series of making music and recording the whole process and kind of letting you guys see my creative process, I kind of wanted to go over one of the concepts that I use sometimes when I'm trying to write something and maybe I'm just kind of in a rut, in like a creative rut. And the tool, I guess, is to create artificial limits. So kind of like create rules for yourself that you have to write a piece of music in that will just end up making the music sound more interesting. Sometimes I find that if I put no rules on myself and I just have the option to kind of do whatever I want, it's just too many options. It's just kind of option paralysis. So by creating some kind of rules, it lets me be even more creative than not sometimes. So the concept of this video is that I'm going to be using two very different guitars, and I have them right here. I'm going to be using my iconic Solana Vintage Modern and my Abasi Lorada Legion 8-string. So kind of two of the most different guitars you can imagine. And the idea is that anytime I'm using this guitar, I'm going to be using the Neural DSP Tone King plugin, and it's going to be more of like a vintage tone, kind of edge of breakup kind of thing. And then anytime I'm using this guitar, I'm going to be using the Neural DSP Gojira, the Archetype Gojira plugin, and that will be a much more modern prog 8-string thing. And then kind of create a little piece where they're both working together in harmony. So even though they're very, very different styles of guitars and they're different styles of plugins and the tones are very different, you can get all of this stuff to work very well together, and it's actually a lot of fun and can be a very creative process. So anytime you're hearing this guitar, it's going to be Tone King. Anytime you're hearing this guitar, it's going to be Archetype Gojira. Please enjoy the rest of the video. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out a lot. And then leave a comment. The comments mean a lot. I go through them, and it kind of lets me know what you guys like. If you guys like these kinds of videos, which it seems like you guys do like these videos, but I am trying to grow this channel a bit. So if you guys could also do me a favor and kind of share this to your friends who are also interested in music production and prog and guitar, all that kind of stuff. Without further ado, please enjoy the YouTube video. Cool, so I'm at my desk. I kind of had a little bit of a chord progression that I liked, that I kind of wanted to try, and kind of like a hybrid picking pattern idea. And the chord progression is pretty simple. It just sounds like... So it's really just starting with an E major chord and then borrowing the rest of the chords from E minor. And then when it restarts, it goes back to E major. So it's just kind of like this major minor thing that I think sounds kind of fun. So I think I'm going to do that. And then the hybrid picking pattern idea that I had was, so every other chord is going to be different. So the first and third chord are going to be this pattern. And then the second and fourth chord are going to be this pattern. And then my idea is that I'm actually going to record those chords separately. So it'll sound kind of like one guitar is doing this, and then a separate guitar is doing. So we'll kind of see how that goes. As you can see right now, I'm using Tone King. Just gonna treble, add some compression. So let's see what this click is at. Okay, let me try 180. Also, this is going to be in 6. So let's track this first part, which is just going to be and. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool, let's try to record the other part. I almost want it to sound kind of like choppy, like it's like a sample. Sweet. Okay, so this sounds weird. It sounds kind of glitchy, but in a cool way. So sick. So that sounds pretty cool to me. I want to add some drums next. So I'm gonna use Get Good Drums. I'm gonna use Modern Fusion and program some drums. So I'm thinking of like a 6/8 kind of thing, but then like maybe some weird hits on the kick drum for like some prog. And then I'm gonna layer in the 8 string using the Gojira plugin. So this is drums. I did not work this out ahead of time, so I have no idea how this is gonna come out. You know, hopefully it comes out good. This kind of stuff is just like, I don't know, trial and error, I guess. So I'm gonna make some MIDI here. So I'm gonna come up with 2 groups. I'm gonna come up with one that's using like a ride and it's kind of just like an open flowier thing. And then I want one that's a bit tighter with a hi-hat. I guess 3 groups, because I also want one with a stack. So I guess I'll make 3 of them and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna add some ghost notes, and I'll make them pretty quiet, maybe 10. Turn these guitars down a little bit. Okay. I know I want like a big snare somewhere, maybe here. Yeah, and then I'm gonna turn this cymbal into like a china. And I'm gonna build into it with the snare. Have a kick at the same time. So I'm kind of just like feeling this out as I go. I don't have like an exact thing that I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to hear a groove in my head. And this might also change once I actually add bass, because usually I like the bass drum and the bass to kind of follow each other. And then because I'm kind of just figuring this out as I go, I'm not sure if it's gonna work quite yet. And maybe here I'll have the kick drum hitting. So when the hybrid picking pattern changes, I'm having the drum pattern slightly change. And then I'm layering the I'm layering the snare with a stack. And I make these ghost notes a little louder on this part, and then I could loop that. Hell yeah. So now I want to write like an 8-string part. I think I'm going to, let's do hi-hat. So I'm gonna get rid of some of this. So I copied it, and now I'm gonna get rid of a lot of it so I can redo it. Okay, let's see. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna keep any of this. I'm not. I do want like some kind of backbeat. So I'm gonna have the snare like so I'm thinking like I'm gonna have it like down, 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 down. So I guess that's all 8 notes. So that could be cool. Okay. And I guess I'm gonna keep the hi-hat groove for now in groups of 3. It's like da 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 And then I think when it goes to the stack, it'll be groups of 4, just to kind of add some variation. So let's get a little shuffle groove going here. The snare hits should be a stack. Sick. So let's do one more groove. And then this one is going to be the stack and a bit heavier. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of these ghost notes. Probably gonna get rid of the snare too. So now I'm gonna put a snare in groups of 4. Maybe I'll do every other one. See, I kind of don't like that. I like what they were before. Cool. So now I'm just gonna bring these notes down to a note that has no drum attached to it. And this is just so I can kind of see where these stacks are happening. And then I'm gonna put ghost notes and kind of fill in the rest of the space. Sick. Okay, so now I'm going to add the H string because it's gonna sound cool. So, okay, cool. So I think I'm going to record the bass part first, just so that when I record the H string, it's a bit easier because there's like a template for me to follow. But to kind of write the bass part, I'm gonna have my H string with me and then open up, I'm gonna use contact and Grove bass. So I have a mono instance of Grove bass. Cool, so I'm gonna start with this hi-hat section. So I'm gonna put Archetype Gojira on the H string. Cool, so I'm keeping that pretty simple. I'm just using the second amp sim in the plugin. And then, so let's see. I'm gonna open up MIDI. So the first hit, I like these like H string riffs that are kind of like big interval spacings within the notes. I just think it sounds kind of cool. I don't know. Okay. Now I need to double that. bounce these two tracks in place and then cut out all the silence to kind of give it a little bit of an artificial sound. So I'm just cutting out the silence directly on the beat for any time that I stopped playing. And then I'm gonna select all of these and put a fade in and fade out of 10. Cool, and then I think to tie this all together, I'm going to add some synths and then maybe some production stuff. Okay, so to these two guitars with Tone King on them, I'm going to put some lo-fi stuff. I think first I'm gonna put Portal. Cool, and then I'm gonna add just some synths. Maybe some retro synth. And Sound Toys little plate. I want like the super ambient synth lead kind of thing, maybe like a Tame Impala-esque. It's really long. Okay, let's see what this sounds like. Oh, you know what sound cool is? I'm gonna put some Spitfire Audio labs for all the textural stuff. Cool. Now I'm just gonna take out some of the low end. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate the drums and then move this first section down and maybe add like, I'm gonna add vinyl and a bit crusher. And then I think to kind of, the snare is really loud and I kind of want to bring everything else up, so I'm going to add just a compressor. Cool, and then I guess just the last thing is I'm going to add an arpeggiator synth when everything comes in. And I'm gonna do that on Analog Labs. So I think I'm gonna have it through the whole thing and then automate some filter. thank you guys for watching the YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed kind of a behind the scenes look at how I write music and how I write little small guitar parts and stuff like that. This one was particularly difficult. My computer is kind of not working well anymore, and so I kept having to like freeze tracks and bounce things within the session to kind of be able to screen record and record guitar at the same time. So I am on the market for a new computer. I'm looking at the Mac Studio, so please share this video so I can get a little bit more revenue in order to pay for this computer, because it is very expensive. I do not make a lot of money on this YouTube channel. I barely make anything, so any kind of support really, really helps. I also sell tabs on my website. For those who don't know, I have a band called Portraits, and we have a bunch of merch and vinyl released right now on Sheet Happens on their website, which I will link in the description. So my website is joshuadelavictoria.com. My Instagram is @joshdela, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video.